name is Julie Pardue, and I want to share with you about my mom, Kay. My mom first received healing, she received her healing actually 6 years ago now. When we first came to Richard, she was diagnosed with a disease called vasculitis. Vasculitis in itself can be common for people, but for my mother, she was one of 7 in the nation with the form of vasculitis that she had. She had holes up and down her legs. She had a wound on her finger. She had lost actually the tip of her finger, and she was supposed to have her leg amputated. The holes, I would describe to people, looked like leprosy. On the bottom of her foot, her tendon was actually hanging out. When we went to Richard, Mom was scheduled to start hyperbaric therapy. She was going to the oxygen chamber every single day. At that point, she was tired. She wasn't supposed to live. And if she did live, she was facing, as I said before, the leg amputation. So, my favorite part of this story is next. One day we had received a phone call, or I had received a phone call from Richard's wife, Dawn. I thought she was calling me about our vegetable co-op that we were in, but instead she was calling me because the Lord had told her some things about my mom, and she wanted to have my mom come in for prayer. But when she told me these personal things about my mom, I knew that the Lord had talked to her. So I went to my mother and I told her what Dawn had told me, and she started to cry, and she said that she had prayed that the Lord would send somebody to tell her that He loved her. So we went the next day to see Richard, and he took her in and he prayed for healing and deliverance over her, and they talked about the disease vasculitis, and a lot of, for my mom, what it was there was a spirit of bitterness in her, a spirit of self-hatred, a spirit of rejection, a spirit of guilt, a spirit of fear and rage and resentment. My mother manifested all of those things. All of those things. After time and prayer, she came out, and Richard had told her that she would need to sleep, and she did. She went home and she slept for three days, just a very restful sleep in the Lord's presence. When we went back to the doctors could not believe it. Not only had her fingertips started growing back, but she no longer was in danger of losing her life or losing her leg. 6 years later, I'm happy to tell you that she has no wounds, no sores. She has some minor scarring, but she still has a leg and a foot. She's a living testimony every day of God's greatness and God's goodness, and how He is still the great physician. He's our mighty healer. When people ask her now, what happened or how did you survive, she always tells people it was the Lord's hand. He healed me. And you can't explain it any other way. The doctors, when they asked us, they're like, wow, your mom has done so well, we don't know what happened. I would have to say, He healed her. This brings us to the part of the story about my life. Having seen that, and having seen the Lord's great work, I kind of felt like all was going well in my world. Didn't have any problems, so I thought. Life was good. The Lord picked us up and moved us to Tennessee about a year after that happened, and my whole family, including my parents, moved up to Tennessee with us, and all was going well. So I thought. Never had I dealt with any of my issues.